female physicians. So you see how they removed the effect of gender in this study by keeping them all male and all kinds of various different occupations. They were all doctors. So that was good. That was a good design. All right, how about the randomness? Did it mention how they chose who took what? It just said they did it randomly, I think. Did it say? Yeah, it says 1/4 of the subjects were assigned at random to each of the treatments. So they did a good job of number 2. And then lastly, replication. How many people were in this study? It was a huge number. So the bigger the number, the better. 21,000, almost 22,000 people. So good, good, good. All right, let's read another one. So, Julia, you start reading on page 239. So we're going back. It's an experiment about energy use. Would you read that? Start reading it.
Many utility companies have introduced programs to encourage energy conservation among their customers. An electric company considers placing small digital displays in households to show current electricity and what the cost will be. This will continue for a month.
I would like one.
Will the displays reduce electricity use? One cheaper approach is to give customers a chart and information about monitoring their electricity use from their outside media. Would this method work almost as well? The company decides to conduct an experiment to compare these two approaches, display, chart. With a control group of customers who receive information about energy consumption, but no help in monitoring electricity costs.
All right. So the control group didn't get a display or a chart. All right, an experiment. All right, did they do a good job on number 1? Only the experimental treatment differs between the groups.
Same
What do you
city.
think? What's that?
It said the same city and single families.
Okay, right. So we don't know. If you did them all on the same street, that would be a good idea because you're not introducing like we're assuming in the same development, the same street, you have the same sort of economic level. So it didn't say. So we could improve on this study by adding some more extra words to improve on our number 1. So we could keep the same economic groups in the study. It'd be kind of hard to go beyond. It'd be great if we could have the same education and everybody, but we can do the best we can. So their experimental design at least has only the treatment differing between the two. All right, so what about randomization? Did they say anything, Bailey, about randomization? Like who got the chart and who got the display?
No.
Does it say?
In the thing,
Down the bottom it said random
Yeah.
assignment. Yeah. I'm looking for the word random and I can't find it.
at the bottom paragraph says to implement the design start by labeling each household with a distinct number from 1 to
Okay.
60, and then you pick 20.
All right,
you
yeah,
pick
if we
20,
go
and then
further,
groups.
yeah. Okay, so that's good. And lastly, how many? Did it ever say how many there were? 20 down below. It said there were, no, they,
60.
60, and they assigned 20 to each group randomly. All right, so you see, are you getting the idea of
How
what
do
an
you know what's
experiment?
enough?
What?
How do you know what's enough? Because that seems kind of.
How do you what?
How do you know what's enough?
Yeah, I said that would be a tricky one. So do we want 2,000 or whatever? If you're a company and you want reliable results, you want to get as many as you can, but there's a price tag involved. So if 60 is all your budget can take, go for 60. So there is some reasonable constraints on the word enough. Bailey, read the next experiment. We will go to 237, SAT preparation.
Do you have this one on our page?
So, okay. Read about that.
enough budget money to compare the online SAT course with traditional classroom instruction. 50 students are free to participate in the school when comparing the two instructional methods. So should I read the alternative?
Let's see if that's enough. They're just asking you to come up with ways to make it better, or to clarify that it is good. So, talking about that then, what's the treatment that's being offered here, Bailey?
Whether or not they're using online.
Right, online versus what?
In the class.
Right, in the classroom. So, how many students were
Would it be
involved,
better
Bailey?
if we used 236? Is that the same thing?
The same experiment there?
Yeah.
I don't know, it said it was a bad experiment, so they must have did something different there. We can go back and look in a minute. So how many were in this study? 50, so they made an attempt for replication. They had a fairly large number. Again, it's relative. And what else do we have? This randomness. So they asked you to define how to, or they asked, the problem was how to make it random. So there's lots of ways to do that. We won't go over what they are. But you just be aware that it has to be done. All right, let's go back to the bad experiment. Could you read for us? Are you up for it, Elena, on 236? Reading about the bad experiment.
Okay. A high school regularly offers a course to prepare students for the SAT. This year, Purdue Cuts will allow the school to offer only an online version of the course. Over the past 10 years, the average SAT score of students in the classroom is 1620. The online group has an average score of 1780. That's roughly 10% higher than the online average for those who took the classroom in the Purdue course. Was the online course more effective?
All right, so let's just read what they said about it that was bad. So I'll read. This experiment has a very simple design. A group of subjects, the students, were exposed to a treatment, the online course, and the outcome, the SAT, was observed. Here's the design. Student, online course, SAT. A closer look shows that the students in the online review course was quite different from the students who took the classroom course in the past year. So they have no control over that. It's just whoever was in that year group. They had higher GPAs and they were taking more AP classes. The effect of online versus in-class instruction is mixed up with the effect of these lurking variables. So they weren't able to control it. They just said everybody this year takes the new online course. Yeah.
Why don't we count this as an AP class?
What about it?
Why don't we count this as an AP class?
It's not counted as an AP class?
They don't have it on like our report card.
Oh, really?
Transcripts as an AP
Well, probably I
class.
just get this stone and put it on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we should weight it then, because usually AP
I don't know why they didn't do that with calc, did they?
Yeah, they didn't, and we technically had like an AP Calc class
Yeah.
for almost the
Yeah.
whole year.
Yeah.
Can
I
we?
know, I can ask about it.
Okay.
I will do that.
But they
All
can't
right.
change our.
We will see what they're
And what,
thinking
what,
is.
what about this makes it AP just because we're taking the test at the end?
No, because it's
But that's the whole
we're using-
level of
it's
the book is,
The
This is-
curriculum that we're using is the AP curriculum.
This is the AP
Yeah.
book?
yeah,
Oh.
On the front it
And the
says
tests
for
that we're
AP.
taking are the AP tests.
yeah.
so we should have
Oh.
AP.
They're
So
geared,
it should,
they're
it
geared to
should be
prepare.
weighted differently, like we should,
It should be
like
right
technically
one.
we should be able to get like 4.1
Right,
GPA.
And then
if we
with
get
last
the-
year, you should be able to get,
yeah.
Yeah, but they can't take their transcript from last year.
which is really sad. You can't like add it.
When you are asked to do an experiment design, I'll give you the problem and what I'm looking for, and you design the experiment. You will do that with what's this little map. So looking on your handout from day 5, look at the little map there that is at the bottom, and on that we're going to read about this year. That's another SAT thing. This year the high school has enough budget money to compare the online SAT course with traditional classroom
It's an
instruction.
online SAT?
online course to prepare.
Oh, you mean SAT prep courses?
50 students have agreed to participate in an experiment comparing the two instructional methods. So when I asked you to design an experiment, you'll get words like that, and you'll be asked to map out your plan. So notice the first thing, you have 50 volunteer students. Then there's a random assignment between the two. So you're going to split them into group 1 with 25, and group 2 is 25. And then on one of those groups, you're going to put the treatment, which is the online course. The other is the regular classroom, and at the end you compare. Do you see what it means to do a little design map? Okay. Let's try one then. Let's turn it over and look at it. Check your understanding. Cal, read about that situation to us.
The which one?
Check your understanding is on the back of the handout.
Oh, on the back of it. Okay. Music students often don't evaluate their own performances accurately. Can small group decisions help? The subjects were 29 students preparing for the end of semester performance that is an important part of their grade. Assign 15 students to the treatment
Yeah.
videotape a practice performance. Ask the students to evaluate, then have the student discuss the tape with a small group of other students. The remaining 14 students from a control group who watch and evaluate their tapes alone. At the end of the semester, the discussion group students evaluated their final performances more accurately.
Strange study, but
Wait,
whatever.
what does it mean by accurate?
So, what they're doing here, these are music performers, and so they're going to perform, videotape their performance. One group is just going to look at the tape and evaluate themselves. Then the other group is going to have a small discussion first, and then after they watch the video, evaluate it after the discussion and see what the results are.
Wait, what do they mean by accurate? Like according to like professional judges or something?
Yeah, they're going to have to compare it to a baseline of you're right, an evaluation by a professional. So
Yeah,
go
that
ahead
is
and
not-
draw out a map of a design similar to the one that I showed you on the front of the page at the bottom. Map out a design for this problem.
So
Is this right?
29 students and then group 1, 15, group 2, 14.
Miss Hell, this is
Yes.
correct.
All right.
Oh, we're way
We'll
over
go over it.
time.
After 29 students.